So tonight, the topic I think we need to talk about is the topic that I think is on everybody's mind. I didn't really want to. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to shy away from this. And I don't know why. I guess because it's so volatile of a subject and it's so sensitive. But that's why it's important. Like, I got my head crooked now. That's why it's important for us to talk about it. And I think even though it's uncomfortable sometimes for white people to talk about this, it's most important. Hey, Bamos, I think it's most important that it comes from white people. It needs to be, you can't ignore it. Just because it's not you, just because I don't feel those things, I don't have those thoughts, I can't ignore it. I know it goes on. I know that people are treated differently based on their skin color. And maybe I don't have to deal with those things or those kind of discriminations. But I see them, and silence is consent. So to not acknowledge it and to not talk about it would be a disservice. I can't let this go on. It's not in my name. I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. These rallies on over the weekend were disgusting. And I don't know how you can pretend to be innocent in one of these rallies. The footage I've seen is disgusting. You know, you're walking down the street, as diversified as America is, almost any part of America, you can't walk down a street screaming the kind of things that they were screaming and chanting the things that they were chanting and the things I was watching them say. Hi, Phyllis, glad you could come. But you can't do that and say that that's not violent. You're inciting violence. You're walking down the street throwing around those kind of words and saying things you're saying about Jews and throwing around Nazi slogans and carrying Nazi flags. You're inciting violence. How can you pretend to be innocent? Oh, we're just innocent. We just want to, we just want to talk about our rights and our race. That's ridiculous. This country was founded on immigration. It's a country built by immigrants. I don't agree with this at all. And I don't find it comfortable. And I talked about this today on Facebook. I lost a friend today on Facebook, a real life friend, someone I grew up with. We were friends as children. This was somebody I consider one of my best friends in my life. But he's a black man and he lives in Texas and he's afraid. And he's mad at me because I was Bernie or bust. He's been mad at me ever since the election. And he tagged me again today. He wanted to know, hey, Sean, you still happy with choosing? You still think Trump was better than Hillary? I hate that. I really hate that even is still happening and that I'm losing friends over that still to this day. You know, the DNC and Hillary Clinton stole a nomination, and it's fact now. It's not opinion. It's not us saying it. It's not us saying it because it looked like that's what happened. It's fact. It's admitted fact. That's what happened. So Bernie Sanders was supposed to run against Donald Trump. Hillary got you Trump. They elevated Donald Trump so that they could win. They felt like they could beat him, so they elevated him and got him the most media coverage so that he would beat out those other 13 guys and Hillary would get to run against him because she thought she could take him down. Well, it didn't work out that way. You know, and it's not going to work out that way again in 2020. So ignoring what happened and wanting to go, well, look how awful this is. We have a white supremacist now as our president. And I'm going to get back to that because I think that's bullshit too. But now they're saying we have this white supremacist as our president. Look what you did. We could have had Hillary. And you guys, you wouldn't bite the bullet. You wouldn't vote for her. You know, and now we got Trump. And now I don't feel safe. You know, like my friend, I live in Texas. I don't know what to tell my children. There's these white racists walking around with AR-15 strapped on, pretending to be G.I. Joe, walking down the street, and they're allowed to do that. This is going to be scattered. I tried to make notes, but there's really no way to make notes for this. I'm too upset about it. I was watching this protest that went on in Charlottesville. I was watching these white supremacists push a line of cops. They were pushing these cops, pushing against the shields and pushing these cops back. Now, I remember watching Standing Rock. I remember, protests in Ferguson, all these different protests. That shit was not allowed when it was on our side or when there were minorities in the crowd. But you have a team of white men. A lot of them were armed, got pistols on them, pushing cops back, and they're taking it. Or Cornel West talking about when the Antifa people saved him and other clergymen from the violence when the violence erupted. He's on there talking about the cops have pulled back. They're giving them all this room and just letting it go. Now, we've all seen what happens to peaceful protesters that aren't white, that aren't a group of white nationalists. They get tear gas shot at them. They get billy clubs. They get beat on. They get pushed back. You would get nowhere near the areas. There's no way you would push on a cop. I didn't understand what I was watching. You know, and you hear things like, oh, well, they're afraid, and these people will find out where they live, and they'll cause them problems. I'm sick of hearing about cops being afraid. When you strap on that gun and badge, you know you took a dangerous job. You don't get the right to be afraid. You're the one that's supposed to protect and serve. You're afraid? And how are these people? They're walking around in army fatigues, carrying AR-15s at a protest? I saw one guy pulled his pistol more than once. You know, and now he's on the. You'd like to see this video. He was in a Vice documentary, running his mouth, laying guns out on the bed, talking about he's ready to kill. Now he's crying because they got a warrant out for his arrest. He's amazed that you can't just pull guns on people. It's madness and it's crazy. But see, I'm all over the fucking place. I should have wrote notes on this. It's too much. It's disgusting, but it also reeks of a distraction. And then, like I said, I was going to get back to that whole Trump being a white supremacist. Trump has had black girlfriends. Trump hangs out with, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. He's been involved in civil rights before. He's been on the right side of things. I don't understand what's going on right now. I can't defend him. He comes out and he apologizes. He reads his teleprompter speech where he does condemn white supremacists and does condemn the KKK. And then he comes out a day later and he takes it all back. He talks about how there was bad stuff going on both sides. Why is he so wishy-washy? I don't even understand what the hell's going on with him. But you can't defend him. I don't defend him. I hate when I have to say, well, Hillary rigged the fucking election. And that should bother you. Why are you so mad? Why do people want to be so angry and say, look what you did. You guys, you wouldn't bite the bullet. You were spoiled brats. And now we have Donald Trump. And this is all your fault. And I got told today that I couldn't understand why that's so scary because I'm white. I don't understand what people think's going to happen, that what Donald Trump has the power to do. Do you think he's going to take us back to the 1950s? Do you think people are going to stand for that? These racists did not vaporize out of thin air when Trump became president. They were always there. They feel empowered now. And in a way, that's good. They're exposing themselves. We've gotten people fired this week for being in this white supremacist rally. There has been statues, Confederate statues coming down across the nation. There's good going on as well. It's good. It's good that people are being flushed out. Is it scary that they're all coming to the surface now and they feel empowered? Yes. But they're telling you who they are. They're not hiding anymore and they're not safe. So they're coming out of their caves. They feel brave and they're letting you know who they are. And they're ignorant. They're ignorant idiots. And honestly, Trump didn't win by a lot of votes. He didn't even win the popular vote. So even if his whole base, which his whole base is not ignorant racist. So what do you get, 25% of the vote? You got to take like a quarter of that is these ignorant motherfuckers? A lot of people just vote R no matter who's on the ticket. That's how they snuck him through. Your ignorant people were always there. Now they just feel emboldened. They feel like they're able to go out and, Trump's my man. And yes, it's bullshit that the American president doesn't understand that he needs to come out against this, that he needs to put his foot down and say, this is outrageous, to condemn it, to say that these people are disgusting. But what the fuck do you want to, when are we going to start realizing that Donald Trump is not presidential and is never going to act presidential? and you keep waiting for him to act presidential, it's not going to happen. He's a bumbling idiot. He was never supposed to become president, and he's not presidential. So he's got all these people in his ear, and they're the wrong fucking people, like Steve Bannon. And you don't know what the fuck he's doing. And stop waiting for him to save you. He's not going to. He's never going to act presidential. How do you keep getting let down? Aren't we used to this by now? And we knew this going in. That this was going to be awful. I didn't realize how awful. I still would have done what I did. I still would have voted the same way, and I would do it again if the opportunity presented itself again tomorrow. So I apologize to that friend of mine, but yes, I would do the same thing. And you should be angry at democracy being messed with and your vote being taken away and the primary being rigged. That's what you should be angry at. That's where you should focus your anger. Because if the left does not unite, we're not going to have a chance to clean this up. We're not going to be able to. It's out of hand. We've made our bed. Now it's time to lay in it. The mess is made. So there's really no point in running around pointing fingers. Look, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. The mess is made. So now we need to accept how it happened. Stop being afraid. The politics of fear is what they're playing you on right now. They're going to show you, and they're going to just let it keep rolling. You notice how the Democrats have been quiet this week for the most part? They're going to let it keep rolling because look how awful he is. Now you'll vote for anyone they put in front of you because you're afraid. And they're letting these minorities and, gays and transgender people and all these minority groups, they're letting them be attacked so that they'll be afraid. You can't let fear run you. That is exactly what they want. I'm liking that argument today with my friend and how he's talking about, I don't understand because I'm white, this and that. I think what you don't understand is you're pushing away an ally. You're not going to be able to push me away. You're not going to change my views. I'm not going to stop fighting on your side. But you need to realize that I'm on your side, that you are not in the same situation that you were before. We are not going to go backwards to before the civil rights movement. We won't fucking stand for it. You saw us out in the street fighting too, right? You're not alone. I watched the KKK leader try to hold a rally, and it was white people that ran him off. I hate this. I don't want to talk about race. I don't like it. But you can't ignore it. Because like I said, silence is consent. I don't want to sit here and talk about this because I don't feel those things. It's disgusting what's happened. And what happened to Heather Heyer? For that guy to run her down in his car, and he intended to kill a lot more people. Now he's trying to go through his lawyer and say he was afraid. But he went down that alley with murder on his mind. He intended to kill a lot of people. And he hurt a lot of people, and he did kill one. But he intended to kill a lot more than that. And you should be talking about him as a terrorist. You should be calling him a terrorist. He is a terrorist. Stop being afraid to use that word and that label on white people. That's ridiculous. He is a terrorist. That is straight out of the ISIS playbook, driving a car through crowds of people. So let's not be afraid to call him what he is. And you should go after him the full force and strength of the law. He's a murderer. Don't play this afraid shit. Somebody punched you in the face at the rally. I don't really care. You killed that woman, and you meant to kill more people. So to hell with you, and to hell with any of your fears and your concerns. I don't care. None of that mattered the second you put your foot down on the floor and drove that car into that crowd of people. You canceled all of that. Nobody can or should feel sorry for you anymore. And nothing that you think or say matters at this point. I don't care if you were afraid. Let's see. Let's go through some of the comments here because I am so scattered on this. It's got me upset. It's upsetting. But as I said, it also feels like a distraction. They got 9 more rallies planned. 9 more rallies to get out there and push us and try to get you to punch a Nazi. Stop playing into that shit too, by the way. I'm not saying to back down. Don't ever back down. But stop falling into traps. Those people on the right, they were ready to fight. They came in padded outfits and helmets, picking a fight. They came to fight. So I know that what they were doing made you very angry. But getting in there and scrapping with them, that's what they wanted you to do. And they're going to give you 9 more chances to do that coming up, apparently. So let's stop falling into their trap. Mock them. I saw a funny video with these white supremacists on a corner trying to hold a rally. This guy was playing a tuba. It was hilarious. Mock them. Don't give them power. Words have power when you give them power. As hard as it is to ignore them, that is the best move. Because they have a permit, you can't stop them. There is free speech, whether you agree with it or not. And I don't. It's disgusting, but it is. They do have free speech. So they get a permit, they have the right to be out in that street. Whether I agree with it or not, that's the way it goes. So the best thing you can do to them is to ignore it. Be somewhere else. Hold a pride rally on the other side of town so that their crowd looks like nothing. Don't be there. Be somewhere else. Let's have a cookout at a park and have a community get together and everybody come together on the other side of town and ignore them. If they got a permit to walk down a street, let them walk down that street, but let that street be fucking empty. You know, we'll all go somewhere else and do something else and just ignore them. Because you can't do anything about stupid. What are you going to do about it? You can't fix stupid. Stupid is as stupid does. Forrest Gump said that. A wise man. Very wise. Let's see. I'm going to go through some of your comments here. Dyer says cognitive dissonance. Trump is sick. Explains why Ivanka is so close. He can't do his job. Extremes on both ends is causing the center to move forward. His vocabulary is significantly smaller than it was 30 years ago. I think it's vascular dementia. I don't know about that, but he does seem to have a limited vocabulary. But, you know, that's what his base likes him for, I guess. He talks to them like they do. What does he speak at a 4th grade level? Isn't that what they determined, that he speaks at a 4th grade level? Phyllis says there's a documentary from Vice, new, it's on YouTube. It has excellent reviews, may get a Pulitzer Prize. Reporter is a white young woman. She risked her life. It's scary. I saw clips from that because that guy crying, he was in the Vice documentary. He was being interviewed for the Vice documentary. He's real tough in the Vice documentary. He's guns laid out. He's walking down the street with his shirt off, talking about, we'll kill you. You mess with us. We came here to mess people up. We're not nonviolent. And then he's in this video now that he's getting arrested, crying, talking about, I don't know what to do. I was just trying to be peaceful. Man, I've seen video of you talking about how you're ready for violence and that's what you want. Now you're crying because they wanted to arrest you because you're pulling out your gun at a protest. You ain't so tough anymore. I thought that was hilarious. Dyer says the media didn't have to cover Charlottesville, but they did. Yeah, they weren't out there covering Standing Rock. It had to be independent media covering that. You wouldn't even known about it, but they wanted this in your face. You know what I haven't heard in a couple days? Russia. I haven't heard that shit in a few days. When you got 9 more rallies coming up, it kind of stinks to me. And at the one in Charlottesville, you had some Soros-like shit going on. Like, I saw a report that a lot of these guys in the padded outfits showed up in 12 white vans. That's odd. You know, they're not above this kind of stuff to cause civil unrest. And to at least push it, you know, to push it. Just give it a little push. That's usually all you got to do is give it a little push, and it'll go down the hill on its own. You just push stupid in the right direction and put a camera on it, you'll get something. And it's got people afraid. It's effective. It works. That's why they do it. It's working. Everybody's scared. Everybody's afraid to think. You know, and it's gotten to the point like today, I'm being called racist because I still think we did the right thing. I still think we should not have went with Hillary. So that makes me a racist now. That is ridiculous. That is fear-based logic. You're not thinking that through. Especially this person that I had this exchange with. He knows me. We grew up together. He knows that that's not true. But he's afraid. So he's lashing out. And we're going to roll into 2018, and this is where we're at. We're divided, and we've been pounded with all this fear. And they're going to take full advantage of that. You can guarantee the Democrats will be right there to go, look how awful this has been. We're here to save the day. Vote for Kamala Harris, or you'll get 4 more years of Trump, or vote for Cory Booker or Joe Biden. That's showing you they learned fucking nothing. They didn't learn a thing. We don't want a Republican with a D next to their name. We want an actual Democrat. And until you're ready to do that, we're not going to be ready to get on board. And we're a very large part of your base. So to ignore that and to keep ignoring it, and instead to be, the vote blue no matter whose are still on us. You did this. You did this. You crybaby Bernie or bust supporters. You gave us Trump. No, Hillary gave you Trump. That one you're crying for and you want back, you want her so bad, she gave you Donald Trump on a silver platter. That's how the fuck this happened. And yes, we did not bite the bullet and go along with it. But that does not make us racist and fascist or pro-Trump. That makes us pro-democracy. We watched democracy get stolen right in front of us. Aside from the fact that she was a shitty candidate, you can't steal an election that obviously and expect to get away with it. And that should be where your outrage is. You should have had Bernie Sanders running for president, but you had Hillary and you got Donald. That's where your outrage belongs. That brings us together. If you keep wanting to ignore it, we can't come together. You can't have your head in the sand. Damn it, I thought my feed just froze. But you can't have your head in the sand and fight at the same time. You're going to have to take your head out of the sand and face a little uncomfortable truth so that we can move forward together and win this fight. Set up to lose again. If we went into an election tomorrow, we would lose. We'd get our ass kicked. We can't come together. Tara said, God bless you. Left and the right need to come together. Yeah, they do. This is all bullshit. This racism is bullshit. The political parties is bullshit. They always want to break you up into teams, to separate you, to make you think that one side is better than the other. So you can never think and go, wait a minute, we all need these certain things. We all need health care. We all need a living wage. Why the fuck are we divided into teams? Why aren't we voting for issues? Why aren't we coming out together in support of important issues? But because they have you broken up into teams and convinced that racism and political parties and all of this shit matters when it doesn't. Helen says they'll pour everything into us fighting to keep attention off of them. Absolutely. Divide and conquer. That's what they'll do. That's what they've always done. That's how they've gotten to their position of power. They keep us bickering amongst ourselves and then throw us a little bit every once in a while. Cake and circuses. It's been around since the Roman Empire. It's old. It's an old trick and it continues to work. And it's funny because a lot of us realize the trick and it still works. How in the hell could that be? Helen says I'm getting glitchy, but I'm still there. Cindy says the documentary is very disturbing. It is. I watched another thing today, and I wish I would have paid attention to what network or what website it was from. But this woman, she was foreign and also a black woman, was interviewing a leader of the KKK, and it was disgusting. It's hard to watch. She was actually on their property, and the things that they were saying, oh my God, the stupidity. That amount of ignorance, I don't know how you would ever get through to that. But that is not new. These people did not just show up. That stuff has been going on forever. It's not new. They just feel empowered. But they're telling you who they are. Let's see. Helen says it hasn't changed for centuries. It hasn't because it works. It works. There's a lot of psychological manipulation going on with us. Okay, Dyer's talking about someone in a wheelchair, Field's mother. I missed that. My comments are coming in spurts, guys. I don't know what's going on with my feed here. I'm trying to keep up with you. Thank you for sharing that link, Cindy. That documentary is really good. You guys should check that out. That's a really good link. But my comment, like my thing doesn't want to scroll, and it's really hard to catch up with what you guys are saying. But I'm going to do my best here. But I do not know what Dyer's talking about there. I think I missed something. And I'm awful with names, so I may have even seen that and not know about it because I'm terrible with names. And that's something I really need to work on. I wish I would get better with that. I need to really practice with remembering names. I'm horrible about that. You can introduce me to you, and 5 minutes later, I forgot your name. Yeah, thank you, Cindy. I'm glad you were able to come, Terry. And I hope I'm saying your name right. I hate that. I also butcher names. That's another thing I do. The driver's mother was in a wheelchair. Oh, okay, yeah. So she was sitting on the ground. That was weird when I was watching her interview. That is weird. I did not know that the driver's mother was in a wheelchair. But she acted oblivious to it. That was a really weird interview. She acted very confused by the whole thing. And I mean, I guess that's kind of not wanting to incriminate her son. That's what I took it as. But hopefully they throw the book at that guy. The one that ran those people down in Charlottesville and killed Heather Heyer. They need to throw the book at that guy. That was disgusting. And he says he was in fear. There was no fear. He started that charge down that alley. There was no one at the other end of that alley. I've seen a lot of angles of it. He was not afraid. He intended to hurt and kill people. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he set out to do. And unfortunately, he was successful. Dyer says people attacked her. The mother of the driver of the Dodge Challenger? See, I'm guessing here, but because I don't even know that that lady's name was Fields or that that guy's name was Fields. Because I have not bothered to learn his name. And I wish they wouldn't even tell people what it is. I don't like these people getting famous off of this or becoming a hero in the white supremacy community. And the things that you're seeing them say about that, the woman Heather Heyer that died, disgusting. These people are disgusting. And there's no redeeming quality about them. They're angry, bitter, sad, pathetic people who have nothing better to do than lash out and blame their problems and their shortcomings on everybody but themselves because they don't have the bravery or the courage to take responsibility for their own problems or their own issues. So they want to blame, it's this group, it's that group, it's this group's fault. If we got rid of the Muslims, it's the Jew bankers. It's all of this. It's not me. It can't be me. It's not my fault. But so the mother's name is Samantha Bloom. I'm guessing again. I think that's what he's trying to say. People attack the mother. Well, that's not, I don't agree with attacking his mother. But people are angry and they don't know what to do because your leaders are doing nothing. So you're swinging in the dark. But I definitely don't agree with attacking his mother. I agree with throwing every book you have at that dude. He needs to get the maximum of whatever penalty there is for what he did. But I don't agree with attacking his mother. We shouldn't be doing that. You know, that's not right. But, you know, what her son did was horrible. She didn't do it. I hope that she had nothing to do with that. I hope she didn't even know about it. She acted shocked. Hopefully that wasn't an act. You just don't know. He got that hate in his heart from somewhere. I guess he could have came up with it himself. He could have gotten in with the wrong people, bought a bunch of the wrong bullshit, but I don't know. The answer to hate isn't more hate, but I'm also going to fight for anybody in any minority group that I see being violated. I'll stand up and fight. I'll put myself in front of it. I'm not saying to back down and don't be quiet, but violence plays into their hand unless you have to do it. Always defend yourself And the Antifa people that protected the clergy and Dr. Cornel West, I applaud you. Thank you for doing that. The fact that they were in danger is ridiculous to begin with. You watch them, they're walking down the street, clearly clergy, wearing church outfits, and then Cornel West in the middle. And the fact that they needed protection at all is disgusting. You would attack clergy and an elderly black man or an older black man? I wouldn't go so far to call him elderly, but older. Disgusting. So thank you to those Antifa members that got them out of there, because Dr. Cornel West claims they saved his life. And that's just awful. Everything that happened there was awful. Helen says she was clueless about it. She seemed like it. She seemed like she had no idea what was going on. So I don't think anybody should be messing with her or his family. But he should be held, his feet to the fire. Everything that can happen to him should happen to him. And there should be no leniency and none of this bullshit. I was afraid. No, you killed that woman, and you meant to kill a lot more people. You drove very fast into a crowd of people. You meant to kill people. You had murder on your mind. I'm not buying that fear shit. Cindy says some parents teach hate, but not all. These groups recruit gullible idiots. And that's right. She's right. It's not always been taught to you by the parents. I saw one video. This was funny. This guy was being chased by some people that were chasing Nazis. And he starts screaming, "I'm not a white supremacist." He takes off his little outfit, his Trump hat and his white shirt. And he's like, "Look, I'm just doing this for fun." But then as soon as they stop chasing him, he goes right back to, it's fun to scream white power. No, you're an idiot. And you just want to be around other idiots that reinforce your stupid, immature, fear-driven views that everyone is out to get me and nothing is my fault. Everything is everyone else's fault. I'm a white man. How could it be that I'm not successful? Well, maybe you didn't try hard enough. Why do you have to blame everybody else for your shortcomings? Try harder. Stop thinking that everyone's out to get you. You look ridiculous. Other than the fact that you sound, I almost said a word I don't really like to say. Special. Sound like you need to ride the short bus. You have some learning disabilities. There's a lot more problems that you have other than race. A lot more is holding you back than the color of your skin. I just hate to have to talk about this stuff. I hate that we're still having to talk about this stuff. It's 2017. When will people stop trying to take us backwards? Because we're not going backwards. Like I was watching Nina Turner talk, and she was like, we have to keep moving forward or drag them forward. And that's the way we're going to do it. We're not going backwards. Nothing's going back in time. Dyer says Fry is nuts. Virginia has a death penalty. It's challenging my anti-death penalty stance. Oh, he probably meant Fry is nuts. Yeah, I would be for that for him. I'm going to go ahead and be honest about it. I think he's a terrorist and he should be treated as such. He's an enemy of the state. He should be treated as a terrorist. However we would treat a terrorist that committed mass murder, that's exactly how you treat him. I don't care if he's from Ohio. He became a terrorist when he decided to kill a large group of people in the name of fascism and white supremacy and Nazism. So I don't feel sorry for him. I'm all for going all after that guy. You make an example out of him so that the next time someone feels like they can drive into a group of people and get away with it by saying they're afraid, they think twice about that shit. We don't need to be tolerating that at all. And honestly, you're putting too much on this President Trump shit. Don't expect anything good out of that man. He's going to let you down at every turn. Go into it expecting that. But he's nothing. He's not even really the president. It's all a show. It's just bullshit. We need to fight and keep fighting and keep moving forward and not let them distract us and not let them break us up into little groups so that we're weak. Keep moving forward. Keep focused on the goal. Keep focused on what our true agenda should be. That's how we win. Breaking up into little groups is not how we win. That's how we stay weak and how we lose. That is a recipe for defeat. That's what we're doing, is agreeing to lose right now by not coming together. But a large part of that is getting people that don't want to see something to see it so that we can acknowledge it and move forward. You're going to have to admit what happened. If you're a vote blue, no matter who, you're going to have to embrace what happened and how we got here in order for us to move forward. Their only way to keep it the way it is to keep us broken up in little groups, because we are the largest voting sector by far. If we unite, we would be dangerous. So they don't want that. They want to keep us separated. Let's see here. Oh, looks like I got a few more comments here now. Dyer says we're not talking about raising the minimum health care, creating jobs, building infrastructure. No, they got us real distracted. And they got us broken up. That's the other thing that's we can't allow that to continue. We have to unify, stop listening to all this bullshit propaganda, stop allowing ourselves to be so easily led and so easily distracted. And I know it's hard, because what happened this weekend is disgusting. And that gets you upset, and it gets you distracted and takes your eyes off of what's really important. We know we're not going to allow anything to go backwards. I know I'll fight. You're not taking away anybody's rights. I'm not standing for it. And I'm not going to be quiet either. We can't be quiet, even when it's uncomfortable like this. I didn't want to talk about this because it's such a damn tightrope, but it shouldn't be. It's stupid. It's a distraction. But people get triggered. You say the wrong thing and they're not even listening to you anymore. You've crossed the line. You've triggered them. And everybody's so hurt right now. And everybody's nerves are so exposed. And everybody's so sensitive. It's really tough. But we need to, like Dyer was saying, we're not focusing on the big issues. We're not focusing on what's important because they've got us distracted. So worried about Trump. He's nothing. If anything, he's an ally to us for simply the fact that he's such a bumbling idiot. If you impeach him and you get President Pence, you're not going to have that shit. You're going to have a polished salesman selling their bullshit instead of this moron up front. And I don't like him. I never wanted him. He shouldn't be our president. It's disgusting. But we need to acknowledge how that happened and move forward so we can fix things. And allowing ourselves to be scared and worried about things like that is just going to allow the Democrats to swoop in and throw a Cory Booker and a Joe Biden at us and go, look, you better vote for him or you're going to get 4 more years of Trump. We're not going to change or do anything or focus, like Dyer was saying, on the issues that are important to progressives. But you are afraid of Trump, right? We made you good and scared of Trump. You don't want that, do you? You can't vote from fear. We can't allow them to make us afraid so that we go along with their bullshit anymore. People are waking up. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they're trying to disrupt. The fact that people are waking up to their bullshit and starting to call bullshit on it. You even have the president calling CNN fake news, which I hate him again, but every time he says that, I laugh because they are fake news. Every damn one of them is. It's a circus, and all they do is sell you propaganda. Turn it off. Why are we still watching it? Why are we letting them work us up into a frenzy and a froth all the time instead of focusing on what we know is important and moving forward and just supporting independent journalism? I don't know. I asked in my post today when I was talking about losing that friend, are we doomed? It feels that way sometimes. It feels overwhelming. I never want to allow myself to really fully go down that road because that's a dead-end road. But it seems like we just can't figure out simple concepts. And the most simple among them is we have to unite. If we don't unite, we're powerless. Can't win this fight without uniting. And you got to make sure that you're never quiet. You see something, if you got that uncle at family gatherings that thinks it's okay to say something ignorant, make him uncomfortable. It needs to be uncomfortable to be ignorant. You need to stop being like, well, okay, well, we'll just let him go. He's from a different time. That's a bullshit excuse. You know, the world advanced and you needed to too. And the fact that you didn't doesn't give you a free pass, not in my book. And you shouldn't be able to be comfortable being ignorant ever. We need to make being ignorant uncomfortable. There should be no place that you're able to do that and feel like you can get away with it. You know, when people do that little look around before they tell you something ignorant to make sure the wrong minority's not around, make sure they know it's not okay. You know, that joke is still fucked up. It doesn't matter that that race is not standing here. I'm not going to stand for that ignorant shit. Start making it not okay. Stop making it acceptable. But Helen says it has to be us against them, not us against each other. Exactly. And that's what they want, is us fighting each other. When we turn around and start fighting them, that's when we're dangerous. And that's what they don't want. So the longer they can keep us distracted and fighting amongst ourselves, the longer they can keep doing their regulars, what they've been doing all along, right in front of us. Like, oh, look, we got them distracted again. Now we can move this around and do this little shit, do our dirty stuff like normal. That was real close. We almost had to do something real for them. They just keep fucking with you and keep shaking the board. And then they get us scrambling over little things that don't matter, instead of fighting them and uniting and going forward over the things that do. We need to stop being so short-sighted and keep see them for what they are, a distraction. No. This is just to split us up and divide us. We need to stop letting them do that. We are the smarter group. Let's start acting like the smarter group. That's what I'd like to see. John says the power of example will take us far. That's true. That's true. And, you know, it's good that there are people that want to set an example, because it's hard. It's hard to keep wanting to talk about what we need to do or trying to get us to do the right thing or try to push you in the right direction, because it's an endless battle. You're having thousands of the same argument over and over and over again. It gets draining on you, and you start to feel like I was feeling this morning, where I'm like, are we doomed? I wasn't being facetious when I asked that. I was being serious. You know, and mostly because I just got done arguing with a friend I've known in real life that knows I don't feel these things, but just because I don't think it's okay and we should have voted for Hillary, and oh yeah, I'm sorry, we should have bit the bullet. I'm still not to that point. I'm a racist all of a sudden. And he knows that isn't true. And I know that when he's done being mad at me or he's done being afraid, he'll come back around and realize that's not true. But it's unfortunate that an ally is even being attacked now just because you're afraid of Trump. Your fear is going to get you 4 more years of Trump. You got to stop being afraid and letting them distract you and get you scared over these other things, which I know are scary, but it's a distraction. It's a way to keep your eyes off the prize and get you fighting for something you already have. We're not going to let them take away rights from people. I would hope not. I'm not. I'm not going to be on that side. That's not happening in front of me. We're not going backwards. Yeah, I just crashed again. I think I'm back now, though. It's weird. I've been watching my face pixelate this entire video, and I'm just hoping it doesn't look like that for you guys. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I beat a dead horse. I can feel myself being redundant. The main issue and the main point I wanted to make here was we can't allow ourselves to be led by fear, and we have to unite, accept what happened, unite, move forward, and fix this, and keep moving forward. And don't allow them to stop you from moving forward or distract you or pull you over this way or try to take your mind off of what you want. Brush them off. Ignore them. That's the only thing you can do for stupid is ignore it. You can't fix it. You know, punching them is not going to make them stop being stupid. It might make them more stupid. And then you're going to give ammunition to all their stupid friends. Saying, look, they're violent. We need to get more people with billy clubs to come to our next one. Ignore them. Play the tuba. Make fun of them. Mock them. Don't give them power over you. They're sad, pathetic, cowardly people. They're only brave like that in large groups. By themselves, they talk about that shit in the back room or when no one's around or when they think it's safe. It's not safe. You're not safe to act like that. And they're not going to let Nazis run wild in this country. We had a whole war about that. The entire world was involved. We all decided that wasn't going to happen anymore. So it's not gonna. You're not going to start that shit from inside this country. That ain't happening. But thank you guys so much for coming by. I'm sorry that this was such a downer, but it was important. It was important to talk about this. You can't ignore it. It would have been, if I'd have tried to ignore it and pretend this wasn't going on and talk about something else, I would have been thinking the whole time that this is wrong and we need to talk about this. We need to make sure that, we stay focused on what matters and stay united and stay together, because our strength is in our numbers. Divided is how they want us. Divided is how we're weak. If we stay together, we're strong. And you just pay no attention to that bullshit. Stay together, move forward, keep your eyes on the prize. And that's how we'll win. So thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see you on Friday for the Yankee show. I'll be coming from the Politics and Stuff page. And I'll see you then. Thank you guys so much for coming by.